Hey guys, welcome back to the weekly download. I'm your guest host Natita, holding it down while our girl Shynia is off in Brazil at COP. But don't worry, she sent us updates straight from the floor, and we've got you covered with the biggest global and local stories this week. Let's get into it.
This show is sponsored by Ignite Media.
Only about 1 in 6 million people in the world have what's known as Rh null blood, called golden blood. It's the rarest blood type on Earth, with just 50 known people having it. And it's so unique that it can be used in transfusions for anyone with an Rh blood type. That makes it priceless for medicine and research. But here's the catch. If anyone with Rh null blood ever needs a transfusion themselves, it's nearly impossible to find a match. So scientists have been working on a solution, growing it in the lab. Researchers at the University of Bristol and other institutions are using gene editing technology to remove the genes that code for certain antigens that trigger immune reactions when you get the wrong blood type. By editing those out, they're trying to make universal red blood cells that anyone can safely receive. It's groundbreaking, but still in early stages. So while we won't see artificial blood banks anytime soon, scientists say it's a huge step towards helping people who can't rely on ordinary blood donations. After 43 long days, the US government has finally reopened, ending the longest shutdown in history. President Trump signed a bipartisan funding bill following weeks of gridlock in Congress. Thousands of federal workers had been furloughed or forced to work without pay, and entire programs were stalled. Both the Senate and House approved the bill, signaling at least a temporary truce. But with elections always around the corner, many Americans are asking, how long before the next one? At home, the big headline, Prime Minister John Briceño has reshuffled his cabinet for the first time in his second term. 5 senior ministers have new portfolios in what's being described as cabinet adjustment. Let's break it down. Karim Musa moves from Home Affairs and New Growth Industries to Immigration, Governance, and Labor. Henry Charles Usher takes over Musa's old role, now leading Home Affairs and Enterprise. Jose Abelardo Mai adds New Growth Industries to his Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Florencio Marin Jr. shifts to Public Service and Disaster Risk Management. And Oscar Requena goes back to Rural Transformation, Local Government, and Community Development. But perhaps the standout name in all this is Francis Fonseca. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, and Culture now regains Education, Science, and Technology, a ministry he previously led before it was reassigned. Fonseca told News 5, obviously this means more work, but I'm committed to doing the best I can in service to the Belizean people. And that right there is a masterclass in political consistency. It's giving seasoned statesman energy. After years in politics and consistent delivery, Fonseca's expanded role feels like a nod to his skill as one of Belize's most experienced career politicians. Now, let's check in with Shin in Brazil and see what her first few days have been like.
Hey besties! Welcome to a day in the life of a negotiator. This is my COP experience. So I started the day off by leaving our cruise ship and then taking the bus to the COP venue, which is about an hour away. Note the type of dumps, besties. We enter with our car that says we're able to enter the blue zone. There's also a green zone. Anyone can really enter that. So there are some pavilions, as you can see. But then we go to our coordination meeting. That's my flag, not a return to sender card. We raise this when we want to talk or interject, like Camille did. We turn it on the side, and that's her talking in the AOSIS, Alliance of Small Island States Coordination Meeting, which Belize is a member of. We express concerns and try to align with other countries who have the same interests as us where we can. And after this, we have a quick delegation meeting to update and check in on our progress as Belize, as a nation. ensuring that our position still stands firm and we are just keeping in communication across thematic areas. Then here's Belize again, because we have another coordination meeting after this with another group of countries. This is a bigger one. It's G77 and China, and this group is huge, so it's really hard to align things here because it's like too many cooks, you know, that type of thing. But yeah, this one is a general one, and here I am on the floor, but I have no time to eat and I was hungry, so I was eating a protein bar on the floor. But that's fine, because right after this we have a little AOSIS global stock take huddle, so that's the track I'm following. And here we do a deep dive into the documents and align what we need within our group, going to our negotiations. I saw my besties from Grenada and Dominica, so we walked over and I grabbed my flag, sat ready for negotiations. It's a pretty long process. It's actually really exciting. Love me some wordsmithing. I finished my negotiations from the day, met up with some friends and decided to check out a side event before our next meeting. So here it is, and this was a really interesting one. And then after we finished with this side event, we actually had another AOSIS meeting, AOSIS coordination meeting. Look at Camille, remember her? Yeah, she's big fish, guys. So we were done, and there we have another side event where Belize is on the panel. That is Miss Ida Sosa. She's one of the pioneers in loss and damage. And now we are done, so we get to go home. Actually, another delay. There's an indigenous protest happening. Please go look up information on that from local and international sources. Then finally we get to go back to be scallywags 1 hour away. I don't really film my face because when the day is done I look like death. Last but not least, I edit my briefing notes and videos for you. I'm sleeping and hungry and have so much to do. So until next week, don't miss me too much, besties. Bye.
That's our bestie doing the most for the planet. We love to see it. Belizean folklore is full of lessons wrapped in mystery, but few stories hit quite like La Xtabai. To the kind-hearted, she appears as a stunning woman. Long hair, soft eyes, voice like honey. But to the arrogant, the unfaithful, or the cruel, she becomes a serpent, a demon cloaked in beauty. And when you follow her into the bush, you don't come back. Traditionally, the story was used to warn men against infidelity or drunkenness. But what if it's bigger than that? The Xtabai, in many ways, is a symbol of temptation. She represents the things we chase blindly because they look or feel good. Power, status, pleasure, even validation, without seeing the danger underneath. Today, the Xtabai could be anything. Social media perfection, fake love, the get-rich-quick dreams, the pressure to perform or belong. They lure us in, promising comfort or beauty, but end up consuming the parts of us that matter most. Folklore at its core was never just about fear. It's about awareness, about seeing through illusion. And maybe the real moral isn't to avoid the Xtabai, but to recognize her when she shows up in disguise. So next time something looks too good to be true, maybe listen to your granny's stories after all. And that's your weekly download for this week. From lab-grown golden blood to golden lessons in Belizean folklore. Remember, stay curious, stay conscious, and maybe stay out of the bush after midnight. I'm Natita, signing off while Shynia's saving the earth. We'll see you next week. Bye!
The views and opinions expressed in the weekly download are solely those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Ignite Limited.